Greetings and welcome to Integrity Biofeedback Academy's presentation of navigational and integrative training for your Infinity app. We're very pleased to have you joining us today, and it is high noon at the OK Corral. What do you think about that, Sharon? I'm kind of putting together all of my westerns.
Yes, partner, and everything's okay in the OK Corral. In fact,
That's
they're better than okay.
they're, are you saddled up and ready to go, Shifter?
I, I sure am.
Well, that's a good thing to know. Okay, well,
No
let's get
more,
moving.
no more horsing around. Let's get to it.
Yippee-yi-yay! Okay. All right. The Infinity app works like an evoked potential biofeedback device. The information provided here should not be construed as a claim or representation that this program is intended for use in the diagnosis, cure, mitigation, treatment, prevention of disease, or any other medical condition. An evoked potential biofeedback device records subtle reactive informational stress potentials provided by the client during the assessment procedure. The program evaluates such responses and then challenges the individual with that information by feeding it back to the client. This process merely assists the body's own natural defense mechanisms by encouraging energetic balance and harmony. Please remember, only duly qualified and licensed healthcare practitioners may make assumptions relative to specific disorders or medical conditions. Quantum Life and Integrity Biofeedback Inc. and Academy shall not be responsible for any such misrepresentations. We will have this now every single week on our courses and classes and whenever we get together with you, because it is so very important. So I hope many of you are looking at this and saying, I need that. Yes, you do. Everybody needs to know what we're doing with our devices. And again, that's where education comes in. And again, I don't want to drive on the highway with you if you've had no education in how to drive your car. I don't want to have you doing anything electrical in my home unless you've had education to do that and you've been trained to do it, and so on and so forth. So for all of those of you who are starting out with your Infinity app, and even those of you who have had it for a long time that think you have got it, I'm going to suggest education, education, and it creates a beautiful foundation. Helps you to understand that what we're saying here is absolutely true. This is not solely put up here so that we can appease the FDA or the medical boards. This is put up here because this is truth. And if you were to ask Sharon, well, Sharon too, you could ask Sharon if you want to. If you were to ask Karen Williams, uh, the manufacturer of the device, is this true? She would say unequivocally, yes. This is like, and it works like an evoked potential, and we're working on informational stress potentials. Stress potentials. Okay, we are not diagnosing, cure, mitigating, treating, preventing disease or any other medical condition. What we are doing is we are looking for the stressors. So I'd like everybody to keep that in mind. And again, for everybody who is, wanting to make this a medical diagnostic system, I encourage you to go to a university and get your medical license. This is much deeper, much more powerful than Western medicine in the treatment of symptoms, which is what allopathy means. I'm not against the medical doctors. So many of us are still at that point where we take absolutely no responsibility for our bodies. And so, where should we go? We should go to see the doctor. When I had an emergency situation, I didn't hesitate. Went to the hospital, had them take care of me. They're excellent in doing those things for us. And we want to strongly encourage you to start understanding what you're doing so that you can start taking care of yourself at an even deeper level than symptomology.
And Brenda, may I say? something myself?
But of course.
We do have this statement on our report that we give to our clients when we work with them on the Infinity. It's so important that it's written out and they have it on everything that they take home from us. And so, of course, then they're going to ask questions, well, what does this mean? And that's, again, where education comes in. If you hand them this to sign or to see that it's on your forms, which is so important, as Brenda is stressing, and then they say, well, what does it mean? And you don't know, that doesn't really look very good. So how do they find out what this really means? Our education, Principles of Energetic Intervention, Stress for Success, those courses that we keep offering every week, but that's where you learn what does that mean, stress potential, and so forth.
Thank you, Sharon. That is true. Sorry, guys. My buttons, I was going back and forth and everywhere there. Karen Williams is the CEO of Quantum Life. And here is Karen's email, karen@quantum-life.com. We have been putting that up every single week. If you have questions about the device, technically speaking, or you have any questions about the product itself in that realm, you can always shoot Karen an email, and she will be happy to answer you. Moving on, this is Integrity Biofeedback Academy's website. There it is, www.biofeedbackedu.com. Our associates program is there. I encourage those of you who are interested in this to go in there and look at it. You can download a whole page of information about the products that we are involved with, and of which are all of the products that Quantum Life sells, as well as a couple of other things that we are involved with. And we'd love to have you join our associates program. You make money, people get great products, and it's a win-win for everybody. This is our email address, integritybiofeedback@gmail.com. There is our phone number, and if you need us, the fastest way to reach us most of the time is through the Gmail. But if you need us and you want to take the time to give us a buzz, you can do that. And if we are not with clients or not teaching, we will be happy to take your questions and help you out. As you know, every single week I try to start out with something that just encourages us, helps us to move forward in what we're doing, and hopefully on these 1-hour calls, what we're doing is helping people to understand more fully, more deeply what it is that they're doing. And one of my primary things with working and doing this every Wednesday is to call to you to fall in love with what you're doing. Fall in love with it. You know, one of the first things that happened to me when I fell in love was, oh my gosh, I wanted to know everything about that person. I wanted to know everything about his past. I wanted to know his family. I wanted to know about his grandmother. I wanted to know what books he liked. I wanted to know what that scar was that was on his face. I wanted to know how he got that. You know, I mean, I was so involved. And I'm calling out to all of you to remember that when you fell in love for the first time. You wanted to know everything. When you went to bed at night, what did you do? You thought about them. You were like, wow, I wonder what they're doing, you know, blah, blah, blah. Fall in love with what you're doing. What that generates is this amazing, compelling desire to learn about your products and then to learn how to use them. So that's my biggest thing when I'm talking to you, is the passion about this field. And of course, the Infinity is part of that. And then I want you to understand how it works. So today's call is about questions. And if you don't send us any questions, we don't have anything to talk to you about. So if you're out there right now and you have some questions about what's going on with your device, as far as, you know, different situations that you're working with and things like that, please start typing in your questions right now. I want you to know that there are no questions that are off limits. Sometimes we'll say, Sharon might answer you on a private level and say that's something that we need to talk about privately or something like that, but there are no questions that we will not be happy to answer within reason. Okay, so please start writing in your questions right now, and we appreciate that. You know, we give our time. Integrity Biofeedback gives our time free of charge to Quantum Life to do this every single Wednesday, and so if it is something that's of benefit to you, let us know that. If it's not, let us know that too. So please start typing in your questions, and while you're doing that, let's just take a look at this. That happens to be Mount Everest. This is a quote that I think is so powerful. They kept on with unabated perseverance, and the hill has not yet lifted its face to heaven, that perseverance will not gain the summit of at last. That was written in 1839 by Charles Dickens when he was writing about the story of Nicholas Nickleby, or Nickleby. And what he's saying there is that persevere. There is no mountain that cannot be climbed. In your practices, there is nothing that is impossible. Everything is possible. In your lives, everything is possible. It depends on your level of perseverance. And perseverance doesn't always mean blood, sweat, and tears. I tend to think of perseverance also in the shifting of your belief patterns. When your client, if you're a practitioner, when your client comes in, if you believe that your job is to create an environment where that client can take those supporting vibrations and jumpstart their own healing mechanism, and if you believe that is true, indeed, you are well over 80% there as the practitioner. Your belief is just as important to what you are doing as is the client's belief. That's perseverance as well. If you don't see something shifting and changing immediately, that's okay, because you guess what? You see this mountain here in this background? Do you think that that was an immediate response to the shifting of the plates on the earth? Probably not. It took time. The Grand Canyon, which is something that you know I love because I do talk about it and I show you pictures about it every now and then. The Grand Canyon is a work of art in progress. It's still growing and growing and growing, because anything that you see around you, there was a time, there was a parameter of time that it took for something to present itself. The same thing happens in illness, okay? There is a time frame where that illness has gone from a subatomic to a cellular, and then it has moved its way through the body until it begins its manifestation point. So be persistent. Do not lose faith, okay, when you're working with yourself or with your clients. You know, there are things that I've been working with for myself, and when I get off the device, I don't think, oh, great, well, that's not completely healed. Piece of crap, it doesn't even work. I don't think that. I think tomorrow's the next day. I'll work on that. I'll work on it next week, because it is a work in progress. So I can't encourage you enough. Don't lose heart. Keep going. Keep moving. Takes a while to get to that peak, but you'll do it. I'm going to talk about Dropbox today. Okay? We move on from one thought to the next. The reason I want to talk about the Dropbox is because so many people are having some issues with their Dropbox, and we get a lot of information or a lot of questions coming about that. The Dropbox is from either the Apple Store, okay, or from your Google App Store, where you back up your Infinity app, no matter what device you're using. And the way you're going to do that, let's go ahead and see if I can bring up the app right now. I can. I know it. Let's go ahead and do it. There she is. That's not it. Okay, let's look for it. It's here somewhere. There it is. See, I knew it. What I want you to do once you have your Dropbox and you have created your own Dropbox. In other words, once you download it, it asks you to create a username and a password, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to come down and you're going to tap the little swirl on your DaVinci screen, okay? And then you're going to go in. That takes you, remember, to your customized panel. Go ahead and say okay. And then choose one of the areas as though you were going to import something, okay? So you're going to tap import. You are going to put in here a fictitious name, okay? So let's just type in here fake. Okay, that would be fictitious. And then you're going to say okay. This is triggering the device to bring up your Dropbox. Okay, that's why we do that. From this point, what you're going to do is you're going to sign into your Dropbox. So I can never remember what the Dropbox is. Oh, I hope I got it right. I might not have it right, but we'll see. Sharon, maybe, I think it is this. Let's see if that's what it is. Sign in and link. You're going to tap that. Whoop, it's telling me I have the wrong password. Okay, well, let's try one more time. And see if I got it right this time. No, I didn't. Okay. Sorry about that, people. I should have figured that out before I got in there. What you'll do is you'll sign in and link. When you do that, it tells you immediately that you are in your Dropbox. Then what you want to do from that point is you want to make your way back to the home, go into your client records, and you'll see backup right down here in this area. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead and back up. It will tell you that it is in progress, and when it is done, it will tell you that you have successfully backed up your device, and so now you can move on. Okay, so it's very, very important that you go ahead and you do that so that you are backing up your device to your Dropbox. Why is that going to be important? Because when we get the new 2.0, which we hope will be coming out relatively soon, you will want to take all of your information to the Dropbox, right? And you will want to make sure that you have everything in your Dropbox so that you can move it directly over to your 2.0. Okay, so please, everybody, get your Dropbox, get it backed up, and start working with it properly. Okay, let's move on. I want to talk to you this morning, too, a little bit about when you run the scan for the DaVinci. I love this picture of this iceberg. You've all heard me talk about the fact that the part of the iceberg that took the life of over 1,500 people on the Titanic was not this part at the top, okay? That didn't bother them too much at all. Actually, they skirted past that and it, you know, fell onto the deck of the ship and broke some things. But you know what? They could have lived through that. But this part is what took the life of over 1,500 people, okay? And I'm going to suggest to you that this is what takes the life of every one of us every single day if we're not paying attention. It's what lies beneath the surface. This is what we want to look at. Do not try to make the information on the scan match the symptom. Okay, what I mean by that is, you know, a lot of times we run a scan, client has come in or you come in yourself and you're running your scan and you're looking at it and it's like, that doesn't make any sense. That's not where my discomfort is. That's not what's going on with me. So you're frustrated. You're trying to make the information on that scan or that test match what your symptomology is. The symptom is this. It's the top of the iceberg. Is that important? Well, somewhat. Somewhat. And I know, believe me, I know if there are massive diseases like we have today that are taking the lives of people, whether it's cardio or cancer or diabetes or whatever it is, yes, it is important. However, you can continue to pound and to break off bits and pieces of that tip of the iceberg, but you're never getting to what's really going on. What you want to do is you want to look for the stressors that cause the symptom. Look for the stressors that are causing the symptom that you have or that a client has. These are the stressors. So while this is important, this is of mega importance. This is where you work, people. This is what you need to do. This is where you need to be looking, is at the things that cause the stressors, not the symptom itself. It is only a symptom that tells you, hello, something isn't working beneath the surface. Okay, don't look at the symptoms so much that you miss the actual stressors that are actually causing that symptom. For my money, for my life, for the life of my grandchildren, my children, my parents, the people that I love, I want to know what's going on down here. This gives me the opportunity to offer their body the support in helping to balance or eradicate this portion of the manifested situation. Okay? I hope that makes sense to you. We are going to talk about pain today, too. Pain is a feeling triggered in the nervous system. Pain may be sharp or dull. It may come and go, or it may be constant. We're going to take a look at that. But right now, I'm going to turn this over to Sharon and let her chat with you for a moment.
And while you're doing that, I want to give 50,000 bonus points to Janet, to Susan, to Blanche, and to Beatrice for paying close attention, because they're saying that when you were typing in the Dropbox.com, you were actually typing in .co or .coo. Maybe that's why it didn't work. Thank you so much. They are really paying attention there. So 50,000 bonus points.
Eagle eye, eagle eyes. 50,000 points. What can you do with those 50,000 points?
Oh, whatever they want to do with those 50,000 points.
Not a darn thing, but it's always good to have them.
There you go. Can you see my screen? I do. We do have lots of questions coming in, so I'm going to do this relatively quick. Many of you are asking for a sneak preview of what's coming up in the conference, and so today is the day. Here's your sneak preview. It's coming up November 4th through 6th, the Quantum Life Conference in Orlando, the beautiful state of Florida. Some of the speakers that are coming, I just have a few here to show you. Dr. Frank Charles, metaphysical physician. He has a doctorate in naturopathic medicine, over 25 years of training in Western functional European biological terrain. Some of my screen is missing for myself, so I can't read all that. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my gosh, I hate it when that happens. Oh my goodness. There we go. And Mind and Body Energy Medicine Disciplines, Vice President of Research and Physician Development Services for Anova Health, Inc. He's going to be one of the main speakers at the conference. Phenomenal, phenomenal speaker. You'll want to hear him. We've talked to him a few times by phone, and I'm excited myself to meet him in person. He's going to be speaking about improving physiology with the Quantum Life Infinity, and you have a list there of his topics. Physiology prevails over pathology, breakthroughs in functional and biological medicine, drainage detoxification, depuration and removal therapies for a toxic world, utilizing the quantum life technology to improve physiology, and about what he's doing in Anova Health Center as well in South Carolina. Phenomenal center. He's going to be a great speaker. I'm I'm anxious to hear him. Nina Silver, PhD, is going to be there speaking as well. She is the one, as many of you know, has written the phenomenal 800-pound book called The Handbook of Right Frequencies. It's all about holistic technology. It's an amazing work that she has put together over years of study. She's going to be speaking at the conference as well. Jimmy Holman, CEO of Pulse Technologies Research in the United States, a COO of Bioenergetics and Pulse Technologies in the European Union. He's going to be there doing a session as well. Gail Mack, back by popular demand. She was at last year's conference. She will be there as well. Author of Activating the Glia Brain for Higher Consciousness. She's a naturopath, spiritual facilitator, and author as well. Founder of Keys to Ascension. She's going to be speaking. I can't wait to see her again. Also back by popular demand, Reverend Mary Hardy, Master Dowser and author. You see her books there. This conference, I really appreciate how Karen is putting this together, because yes, it's got some things about physiology, about metaphysics, physical aspects as well, but also on the mind-body connection, spiritual aspects of what you're doing with your infinity. So it really is a well-rounded conference. And of course, not least but not last but not least, however that's said, Brenda and I will be there.
Right.
We're going to be there too, doing some sessions on the first day, Friday, and then we're going to sit back and relax and enjoy the conference with everyone else for these other phenomenal speakers. We're going to be doing some sessions. One is called Dumbing Down the Innate Wisdom of the Body. Yes, that's going to be a really neat session. I think you're going to enjoy that. As well as learn something as well. We're going to do the basics and beyond, and also here comes the judge. Judge Judy, where the stupidity of the nation gathers, but we are going to have Judge Judah, where the intelligence of the nation gathers. So there you go. That will be phenomenal. I'll leave your imagination up to that. It's going to be a fun session. Yes. This conference is at the Embassy Suites in Orlando, Lake Buena Vista Resort. And to register, go to quantumlifeeducation.com. There's the conference tab right on the top there. Early bird ends September 30th. I don't know if there's limited space, but I would assume that there is. So get your registration in now. All the information is up there, pricing for individuals, for couples, and so forth, and also how to, I think, is up there, register at the hotel as well, and the information is up there. So this is going to be a phenomenal time together. It's always good to see live and in person the people that are on all these calls, but I'm real excited again about the speakers that we are having. Also, the Infinity Proficiency Training is done. This is a picture that I snapped of Brenda after she had done editing the 5 hours of video recording Saturday night, this last Saturday night during Labor Day weekend. We were laboring. She was drinking the caffeine supersized Tim Hortons from Canada.
Isn't that interesting? Favorites. I don't even recognize myself looking at that. My gosh. I was younger, thinner, and my lipstick looks great.
And you know why that is? Because you were just editing all of this information about the amazing Infinity Biofeedback System and how it can help. And so you were...
And it looks like I'm married again. Oh my gosh.
Table of contents. This is a phenomenal 5-hour course. It's session by session, 5 different sessions. Basic definitions and principles, general information about the Infinity app. This is some good things that you can use for marketing. Then client information, informed consent for, opening the app, client records, client pictures, spectral voice analysis, preparing the client, personalized energetic signature, Da Vinci screen initial scan, ending the client session. Oh my goodness, the brain panel, rechecking items, and then screen by screen, Brenda goes through with the visuals of how to use the system effectively, screen by screen. They're all listed there. And then session 5, how to do the biocompatibility test, the cross-analysis, the customized panels, the Know Your panel, backing up to Dropbox, receiving customized panels from other people. how do you regulate your session time, and a little bit about the legalities of using your system as well. Power Pack. The appendix includes all the things that are in the cross analysis, the whole list. That took up about 10 to 15 pages in and of itself in the appendix of the 62-page manual. That is in full color, matches everything Brenda is saying, and done by the left brain of the business, which is me. And as you've heard, it is now approved by the Natural Therapy Certification Board. Hallelujah, we're very happy about that. What would you pay? This course right now is only $199, and already we've had feedback of people saying this course is underpriced. And so we're listening. Yes, we do listen to good.
We love those. We love those people.
And some people are saying to us, what about when the 2.0 comes up? What's going to happen? Do I wait for the training coming up for that? No, because here's the deal. If you buy now, the 2.0 proficiency training will be a free upgrade. Just like the 2.0 for your Infinity, it's going to be free to you as well. If you wait when the 2.0 is launched, the proficiency training will then be $299, price more to what it should be from the beginning. So again, buy it now. When the 2.0 comes out, we will be updating the training. You'll get updated manual and updated recording to match whatever the 2.0 is going to be. And you'll get that now and then later. But if you wait, and then you decide to do the training when the 2.0 is out, the training will be $299 for the 5 hours and the manual. So if you have any questions about that, just you can email me or give us a call. Also, it's part of the Stress Management Certification Program, and which is we talk about every week for you new people. Go to our website or email me, and I'll be happy to share with you about that. If you're working with clients, you need to be certified, and we work with the Natural Therapies Certification Board. There's our numbers, 239-221-8977, and our email is integritybiofeedback@gmail.com. We are here to help you with your education, to help you stay safe, educated, to know what you're doing with your system so that you can get its fullest potential from when you're working with yourself, your family and friends and clients and so forth. So, wow, there you go. And we have a couple other speakers that I didn't have up there yet. We'll talk about those next week for the conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sawyer. Now you can take a breath and have something to drink. So let's go ahead and, are you seeing my screen? Yes, you are. Okay, good, good. Good news. Okay, thank you for that so much. You said you have several questions. You might want to go ahead with those questions, and then we will talk about pain.
Good, yes, because I don't know if you'll actually have time. We've got several here. This question was sent from Susan to our email, and by the way, if you listen to these trainings by archive recordings, you can email your questions and then we address them on the call, and you can listen later. Or you can listen now and later. Some people do that. Susan has a broken arm, and she's been learning from our calls that one of the best places on the Infinity to work with pain is the Meridian profile.
Okay.
So she needs a little help with this, because do you want to know how she's doing it, or just want to go ahead and explain how you would do it?
Well, okay, let's just talk about pain a little bit. That is actually one of the first things that we were going to talk about today. You know that, as you just read there, or as we read right before Sharon's presentation, that pain is generated by the nervous system. Why? Or how, or why is that important? Well, because your nervous system is what is taking the information throughout the entire body, and it is running at over 249 miles per hour, the transmission between the nerves, okay? And so when you hurt your finger, slam it in the car door, what happens? You have instantaneous information that's coming from the nervous system that says, oh, That didn't feel good. That's not right. So the first thing that we want to remember is that this is a good thing from the body, because the body is telling us, hello, this doesn't feel so good. So when we work on people that have pain, one of the most important places that I go is into my meridian profile. However, I believe Susan has a broken arm. Sharon? A broken arm. Okay. Broken arm, maybe a little bit differently. I would still pay attention to what comes up in here, Susan, because you want to make sure that in that particular area where that arm is broken, that you, number one, have a flow of good energy. And of course, that's going to happen by making sure that the energy flow throughout the meridians is really, really moving easily and well. And the way you're going to do that is, you know, like I just tapped in there the little circle next to lung, and you can see here, depending on wherever the break is, that you're going to have some impedance in that energy flow. Now, what is carried in the energy? Well, life. Okay, so you might certainly be able to alleviate a little bit of discomfort by coming in here these and making sure that you're working with the proper areas. Again, there are other areas when you tap actually the heart, and actually the screen went kind of goofy there on me. Let me see here what's happening. Whoops, that's not it. Stay with me, kids. Stay tuned. The wonderful world of computers. There you go. Okay, so again, I just pressed on the little eye next to the heart meridian, and it brought up again some areas that might have an impact on the pain wherever you're having them. However, what I'm going to suggest to anybody who wants to do something with their body and different issues, make sure that you're building, let me get this out of the way, make sure that you are building profiles that actually have something to do with what you need. My father fell, broke his shoulder, and broke the upper arm bones. So what I did was I created a panel. You can see it right here. Let's go over the eye. And I was able to actually run a scan to see which one of these areas was expressing the most amount of stress. Now, what was the top of the iceberg? The fact that he had broken his arm and he was in pain. What was beneath that? All these bones, okay? So I wanted to know which one needed the most attention. So you could certainly have that in your bag. This is what is amazing about your device. Drop down here to muscles of the shoulder and the arm. And so then what I did was I created another area, and as you can see, that's quite extensive. I went in, I was able to test for those, and it helped his body soothe the causes of the pain signal. Okay, now nerves of the arm and the hands. For wherever this pain is, you want to make sure that you are soothing also the nervous system. Okay, and you can do that by doing things like this, by generating very, very specific panels. You can also generate panels that are nothing but pain related. Okay, and so what's happening here is, as you can see, this is also a very extensive panel that we have created here, and it allows us to scan the body to see what would help the body soothe that pain. Again, symptom is pain, right? You don't necessarily want to put a piece of duct tape over that symptom and say, well, I'm going to ignore that. No, that pain is telling you that something's not right. Well, okay, in this situation, we know that it's a broken arm. Generate panels that are very specific to what it is that you're working on, ladies and gentlemen. And again, in the proficiency course, we go through that very precisely, so it gives you the opportunity to see how this is done. But very, very important. Okay, so make sure that you are generating panels that have to do with things that you need in soothing the situations that are going on with you. Okay? You can make your panels out of many, many things. You can look them up. You can use your anatomy physiology. Those of you who are in our classes and taking anatomy physiology, and by the way, you guys can take any of the classes that interest you. You don't have to be in the certification program. You can take any of them. And for people who don't know that the hip bone's connected to the knee bone and the knee bone's connected to the whatever bone, it'd be a good idea for you to take anatomy physiology because it gives you a great foundational. This is not some massive course. You're not going to suddenly be a surgeon when you're done with this or anything, but it is a foundational, very fundamental course, very basic, and it will give you the opportunity to have a little bit of understanding about the physicality of the body when you're dealing with physical things like that. So that would be my recommendation to that. And as you know, once you put that information in to the device, you can then run your scan and then move those things up to either the Balance RX or down to the multi-layer. And Susan, I read that what you were doing was you were actually moving the entire meridian that was showing up to the multi-layer RX and then putting some specific points of that same meridian in the top. That is certainly fine. If it brought you some relief, that's great. But I would encourage you to go a little bit deeper and create yourself some panels. And remember, as we're saying, you can take this and drop this up here. You can move this around and do whatever you want to with this and generate a whole program here specific to whatever it is you need. I always want to encourage you to take a look at your Nogiers, okay, and you're going to do that by tapping right here. Let's go ahead and do that. Again, another great thing that Quantum Life has given you here, pay attention to what Nogier is coming up. This first one is action on the tissues, okay? The second one is for gastrointestinal and metabolic problems, okay? Then we have locomotive problems, disorders of laterality, pain and nerve conduction for E. F is for brain and bone reconstruction and regeneration. G is for action on the cerebral cortex, and L also has to do with laterality. That is not in our product, but the actual Nogier is, and it is in there, and we've talked about it many times. Remember, analgesic is for pain, so if you want to do some help for pain, you're going to put Nogier's frequency E and G and run those. That will help with analgesic. Regenerating frequencies A, B, and F, and muscle relaxing frequencies. Now, doesn't that sound great? It sure does to me. So those are the things I would be doing if I was having pain, and believe me, I have at times. So I'd take my Nogier's ear, E, Nogier's ear, and Nogier G, and maybe put it down here and hit my MEP, set that for maybe 6 minutes. So I'd give 3 minutes to each of those and see how my body is responding. Then once I did that, then I would do the ones that are for regeneration, if it was a broken arm or something like that, for bone regeneration, things like that. I hope that answers your question, and good luck.
Also, Dolores, one of our valedictorians of this class, says there's something called fracture healing in the cross analysis.
Yes, indeed there is. Yes, 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 you are so right. And there is bone regeneration and different things like that in your cross analysis. So the cross analysis is a fantastic place to go. You can, I would recommend certainly going into injuries as well, running this scan, going into injuries, and then do exactly what Dolores is mentioning there, and we'll just show you what that looks like here in a minute. By the way, this is 3D for those of you who don't have 3D. It's great. You can call us. We'll set you up with 3D, and it's less than $10,000, so that's really good. So we saw that bone was an issue there. So maybe let's put in here fracture. Let's see. Does that say fracture healing? Fractures healing. Boom. Check it. Now, this probably won't come up for me, hopefully, because in my that happened to be me that we put on here. We didn't actually connect real well to me, but just had to have somebody in there. Never, to my knowledge, had a broken or a fractured bone, but and as you can see at 84, 87, truly I don't. But for you, Susan, and any of those of you out there working on that, if this comes up, boom, there it is. Thanks, Dolores, for that. And yes, you also will get 50,000 worthless points, but you get the recognition, and that's what's really important. Also here, you'll see ligaments, cartilage, lesions, muscles. So this is a great place to go. And always remember, whenever you've had anything broken, you want to pay attention to the scar tissue. So another place to go is into the risks panel. Also in here, once you scan this, you'll see that you have inflammation, infection, things like that. So again, another great place to go. Okay, Sharon?
Just for clarification, the Noziers are already in your Infinity. It's not a customized panel.
That is correct.
Can you show
Yes.
quickly how to find that? It's not something you have to build or get from somebody else. It's already in there.
Correct. What we did was, you can see we have a little pinwheel down here. This is your little back door. Takes you right in here to your customized panel. And the Nozier frequencies are in here all the time. If you just want to work with Noziers, well, here they are. Tap your scan and go ahead and work with your Noziers. So again, anytime you have anything going on that you want to work with specifically the Noziers, we talk about that in depth in the proficiency training. And also Noziers are beautiful because they're foundational and they help the body on that level, and we see some really amazing things happen. So definitely run your scan and you can work with just the Noziers. And actually that's one of the things that I hope happens in the 2.0. It was one of my strong suggestions that we move the Noziers out to be their own profile. Ta-da! I hope that happens, Karen Williams. Okay, next question, Sharon O'Ear.
Okay. This one is also from Susan. She says, it seems like if she sets the MEP for 32 minutes, it can't handle it and stops way before then. If I set it for a shorter time, like 28 minutes, it's okay. Have you ever experienced that with the MEP?
No, I have not, but I am going to caution you. That's one of my golden rules, and I explain it in depth again in training that's just come out. If you have one or two items in each of the Balance RX and the multi-layer, which is again a strong recommendation, do not fill up the Balance RX. You could put 20 items in there. You could put 20 items in the multi-layer RX, but it's counterproductive. You want to have a very focused session, and in my book, it's very, I probably would not be setting the MEP for 30 minutes or above. If it shuts off, and sometimes this happens with devices that are really basically reading the energy of energy field of the client, and I've had this happen, that the whole system will shut down. Well, what do you think that's telling you? It's telling you that's it. I've had it, that's enough, I can't take any more energy. So again, my recommendation is less is more. I haven't said that yet, so I can't, say it again, but I am telling you that. You've heard me say it before. Less is more. You want to make sure that, again, you have a focused session going on so that you know in place. The only time I would run more than 2 or 3 minutes for any item individually is if it was something like for the analgesic. I might put the Noziers E and G in the Balance RX and maybe run it for 10, 15 minutes if somebody is in a lot of pain. But the reason I would say that that's okay with me is because you're saturating the energy field around the body with a signal that helps to soothe. You are not sending a specific signal to a specific organ. Anytime that you're sending a specific signal that is designated or designed to impact an organ system, I am going to say to you, I want you to work between 1 and 3 minutes. And if you're interested in knowing why, check out the proficiency training for that. Okay, Sharon, next question.
Here's a good question that we've never had before. This is from Patricia. She says, do the new Geos give off heat? My first Geos got hot and then stopped being hot, so I ordered the new ones. The new ones do not give off heat. Should they?
That is a good question. That would probably be for Karen. If Karen is on today, and if she has, Karen, if you want to weigh in on that, you can. I have had several Geo harnesses. I haven't necessarily noticed them getting hot, them themselves. Maybe, I don't know, maybe if anybody else has noticed that. I have had probably about 4 pairs. I've never heard that before, so maybe something was wrong with the first pair that you had. I know that as it's against the area where maybe you're using it, if somebody has pain or something, you might be putting those in a particular area or putting them on either side of the knee or something like that, or on the inside of the wrists. You might be just generating heat just by the very essence of energy flow and movement, but I wouldn't think that the Geos would get hot. So I know that's not a very good answer, maybe, Patricia, but I have not heard that before, so that they get hot.
Karen just said the old ones or new ones should not get hot.
Thank you, Karen. I would think that, yes, again, that might be something that should not be happening. And warm, yes, again, maybe just because of being against the body and the energy flow, but not hot, never hot.
Karen says they can return them to us and we will replace them.
There you go. So if anybody has a hot product that you need to return, there you go.
Karen also gives us her address. Should we give that?
You can. Is it the written out address? Actually, you can go to quantum-life.com, I think, and get that off the bottom of the website, I believe, is where their address is.
Yes, it's there also, she says. Good. Yes. That'll save some time. Thank you.
www.quantum-life.com.
Okay, good. No, lots of little comments popping in here. Here's a question. A couple questions have come in about the imprinter.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know any? Do you want to address those this week? They're saying, can you go over some information about the imprinter? They've never used it before. Mm-hmm. How to use it effectively. We've got a couple people asking about the imprinter.
Mm-hmm. I have not used the imprinter. I will be very honest with you about the imprinter. I have a couple of times when I went to order, it wasn't even in, and then I would forget about it. And so, to be quite blunt and honest, I do not have an imprinter. The imprinter is, and this is what I recommend to practitioners who are generating tinctures, licensed practitioners, I need to make that clear, licensed practitioners who are actually using different nutrients and maybe putting together some remedies or doing tinctures or doing homeopathy or something like that. And what I have recommended to them is that you use that to actually draw in a very precise signal. When you're creating your customized panels, you will put that item on that tray, and that will draw in that vibration, a very precise vibration when you're doing a customized panel. So if you are doing something that is really, you want a very precise signal for it, not that hololinguistics is not giving you a great signal, it is, okay, it is. But if you want to be exceedingly precise, then something like the imprinter is really a great idea. Also, if you want to be able to generate something to a glass of water while you're working on your client, you can always set the glass of water on top of that imprinter and be sending those signals to that water, so you kind of charge up that water with whatever it is that you're working on for that client. In other words, you're giving them the signal, so it becomes like a very, very precise homeopathic remedy for whatever it was that you were working on that day. It is not legally a homeopathic remedy, but since we know that homeopathy is about signals and frequencies, that's basically what you're doing when you're sending something to a glass of water that might be sitting on top of your imprinter. And the imprinter, as I understand, goes in, I'm not sure, I think it, and Karen, maybe you can weigh in on this. I'm not sure if it goes in through the ear area or if it goes in actually through the area where we're charging up our iPads. I'm not really sure about that. But the imprinter, again, I have not worked with the imprinter, and again, I feel that it's really, really important for practitioners that are out there generating, legally generating different types of remedies and things like that.
Okay, the question is, so how do you send a signal from the imprinter to water with the...
Because when that water is sitting on top of that imprinter and you are sending out signals, those signals are being generated through that imprinter, is my understanding of it. Okay, and so it would be, for those of us who don't have the imprinter, you could take one of your geo harnesses. As you know, they have that little elastic band. You could also put those geo harnesses around a water bottle, okay, and you would also be generating that signal into that water, and I believe that your imprinter will work the exact same way, that you are actually sending a signal through the imprinter to whatever it is that you have on the plate.
Does it matter if it's water, plastic, or glass, or anything like that? Do you have a recommendation?
Well, my recommendation is always glass, I mean, plastic, you know, as much as they've tried to work with plastic, anytime you have a plastic water bottle, which I used to use all the time for clients, I would have water in here all the time. I would charge up water for every single client. I got rid of the plastic bottles and I went to paper cups because I felt, okay, it was my emotion that I had about the BPA and the plastic bottles, and so I went to paper because I felt it was much safer. But if you were doing something for somebody that you, you know, you're wanting to charge up something, if you have a glass bottle, it's great to use glass. That is really wonderful. Oh no, Dolores sent the question and I just accidentally deleted. You're muted. Dolores, Sharon accidentally deleted your question after giving you 50,000 points, so if you'll come back on with that question, that would be great. Okay.
Type fast because we only have a couple minutes. I am so sorry. I would just lots of stuff is coming in here. We only have a couple minutes, so here's a question from Sherry. Thank you for your patience, Sherry, because I know you typed in this really in the beginning of the session, but the explanation that you were showing, Brenda, at the beginning, the disclaimer, is that available for them to have and to educate their clients about that as well? You just want to comment about that again?
Yes. I have no problem with you using that. I mean, that is something that I think you should strongly use with your clients. So let's go back to that. We can maybe get you some, there we go. If you're interested in that, we can make a PDF of that and actually put it on the handouts for next week. And obviously, I will take off quantum life and integrity biofeedback, and I would strongly recommend that you copy it yourself and put your information there. Again, for those of you that are taking the proficiency training, I know Sharon gave you a really breathless, wow, we got to get that out there, information on it, because she's trying not to take up too much time of your questions, but I cannot, you know, the proficiency training for the Infinity is born out of the need, okay? And believe me, many of you have talked about, well, can I get just the 62-page manual? No, you can't. The 62-page manual goes right along with the videos. It's important for you to see and to read at the same time, or not to see and to read, but to have the backup of the manual, but they do go hand in hand. We have been listening to your questions for years and answering them hit and miss on these calls. And I don't mean that ours are hit and miss, but I'm just saying sometimes they're asked and sometimes they're not. If you want to know about your Infinity app and you want to get a good foundation going, I am going to strongly urge you to look at the Infinity or the proficiency training for the Infinity. And in there, you will have this information and will give you the opportunity. You can copy that portion of that if you would like to do that, because I do think that's very important. And again, the proficiency training will help you to talk to those clients, because I mean, this is not going to make a huge difference for your client. I mean, hopefully it will certainly help you in your conversation with them, but again, the proficiency will help you to be able to chat a little bit more about what you're doing, and the other courses that we offer to you are very, very essential to being able to correspond or communicate, I'm sorry, about what you're doing, and also for you to understand it. For me, it's like I can't understand that there's anybody that wouldn't want to know more about what they're doing. So,
Okay. Quick question that Dolores just typed in, and then we've got to go. If your printer is hooked up, are all the frequencies being sent out through that, or are there additional ones being sent directly to the client?
mm-hmm. Well, my understanding again, and Karen, if I'm wrong on this, you weigh in on that too. My understanding is that, I mean, when you are sending out the signal, it is being emanated through the card on your, or through the auditory part of your device, and that signal is going through there. So when you're using and the imprinter is plugged in, it is becoming like the gateway for that energy to go out. So I would not think, and again, Dolores, please forgive me, because that has been kind of a nebulous area for me with the imprinter. I haven't gotten any real absolute answers in years past about it. So I guess this is what my understanding is that then becomes where the energy is going to be emanating through that device if you have your imprinter connected.
And Karen's just saying the imprinter plugs into the USB port of the phone or the iPad.
Yes, yes, yes. So if you have a lightning port, you're going to use that on your iPads or whatever it is what you're using there to connect that. So, but again, Dolores, I believe that all of the signals will be going through the imprinter at that point in time. All right, kids, it's wonderful to see you. I can't see you, but it is wonderful to talk with you. Thank you so much for your time. And once again, we want to just say thank you to Quantum Life for an amazing product. We love it. We love you. And we send you light and blessings. And remember, get your questions. You can start sending them to us via email as well. And we will be happy to answer them each week on the Wednesday morning call.
And don't forget the conference. Sign up for the conference.
Sign up today.